Welcome to this episode of the Diaspora Insights Podcast, brought to you by Belgium and Luxembourg. In this episode, we sit down for a powerful conversation with Wendy Agyin, head business coach at She Did It and co-founder of Gold Butter. Sit back, relax, and enjoy.
Okay. Hi, Mary. Nice to meet you too. So my name is Wendy Agyin, head business coach at She Did It, and also co-founder of Gold Butter, where I make hair products for curly and coily hair. So what we do at She Did It is we stimulate diverse female entrepreneurs in their entrepreneurial journey, and we do that through different programs. Yes. So our founder, Lien Warmebol, she founded She Did It around, let's say, this year will be 7 years ago. And it started more when we realized when you ask people, oh, what is an entrepreneur you look up to? Well, in Belgium, people will say Gert Verhulst, or the ones, when it comes internationally, people will say Elon Musk. But yeah, very often they would name white men. And also, if you look at the media and the entrepreneurs that they showcase are very often white men. So there clearly was a need of, first of all, to showcase different type of entrepreneurs. There are a lot of diverse women that are also in their entrepreneurial journey. So it started with shining a light on that. And then from there on, so it started with a visibility campaign by showcasing different stories, different role models. And from there on, it grew into having different events about entrepreneurship. And then after the events, people were still like, oh, okay, but now I want to start my business. How can She Did It help me? And so that's when we started with our coaching program to also help people in their entrepreneurial journey. Yeah, some of the role models were like Valerie Des. She's a female presenter in the Belgian atmosphere and has been doing really well. So she's also one of the role models we had. We also had Sarah Dimani, who at that time was an influencer, but also is known for her own platforms that she has. So yeah, we had different entrepreneurs. Because, if you look at the current ecosystem, the organizations, there were already other entrepreneurial organizations. So we're definitely not the first, but we're definitely one of the only ones that focus on diverse female entrepreneurs. And the importance is more that a lot of our women don't feel comfortable in the traditional entrepreneurial settings that are there, and they're also not represented. So what we do is when you look at our team, we look like them, we understand them more, and so they feel more comfortable to get more information about their entrepreneurial journey. So that's why it's also important so that everybody gets the knowledge and not just one group of people, because another group feels left out. Yeah, sometimes it's even just self-confidence. So even believing that you can start your own business. Another barrier could be financial, like just not having enough funds to be able to start your business, because a business very often costs money, and not having the right network. So if you don't know anybody in your family that comes from an entrepreneurial background, or you do not have friends, or then you're left out a bit. So we see these are reasons why people come to our network. Yeah, so we do have different programs. So maybe let me explain the different programs that we have. So we have She Means Business, which is our one-on-one business coaching program. Then we have Youthpreneurs. That is our program for younger people, for younger women between the age of 15 to 28 years old that learn about their business in a group. And then we also have the She Hub, and we're inside the She Hub right now, where women can have a first retail experience. And then we have our She Funds, where we give funding to female entrepreneurs, so an interest-free loan up to 10,000 euros. So those are our different programs. And so when we give coaching in any one of these programs, just being able to actually do the first steps, right? So it could be that maybe we have a photographer and we start hiring you as a photographer for our events. That's already a way to boost your confidence. Because I remember an ex-coachee of mine said, well, when she did it, hired me, it felt like an organization is hiring me for something. So now I'm like a legit photographer. So by giving them chances, that's a way to boost the confidence. Also, very often we give feedback, and with the feedback, they can implement it in their business. So that also helps. And we also are a network where people ask us like, oh, do you know this entrepreneur that could do this and that? So just giving them also the opportunities that are available also boosts confidence in their entrepreneurial journey. Well, because we've done a lot of coaching. So we have the coaching, we have the events, and that's beautiful. But sometimes people just also need money to start. So after the coaching, sometimes the barrier is just that you do not have the finances to start. And so also what's already known is that only 2% of women get funding in the whole ecosystem. So we decided, okay, in what way can we help? We definitely can give funding up to 500,000 or 1 million, but let us be the first step. So if someone needs to start, maybe they need to get new stock or something, and maybe they just need a little push, which is the 10,000. But once they know how to handle that 10,000, they can get more confident into going for higher funds, maybe for 50,000, maybe later for 100,000. So it's basically being that first step into their financial journey as an entrepreneur. Some of the first questions is, oh, how do you like my idea? So very often they want a stamp of approval of knowing how their idea is. Do you think it's going to work? And then I say, well, have you talked to your future customers? So that's one thing they ask a lot. Another thing they ask a lot is, sometimes they just from A to Z, they're just saying there's so much to do. Could you just help me and guide me with step by step, because they get overwhelmed by everything they research on the internet. So those are some of the questions we get. And we also about finances. So a lot of people want to learn more about finances in business, because some are also scared that the government will give them a fee or something if they don't know what they're supposed to do administratively. So sometimes some people might think like, oh, their background, they might see it like, okay, with my background in Belgium specifically, how is that gonna work? So we do see that. We always advocate for people to use their background as a strength. It's your unique thing, your background. You see things from a different lens. So that's something that we always let them know. Another thing that could be specifically is just, to be honest, very often you have to juggle between maybe being a wife, taking care of your kids, working, and on top of that, still trying to think like, okay, I want to start my own business. So in that regard, all we can do is like help with the time management and create structures so that you don't get overwhelmed by everything at once. But slowly but surely you're moving forward. So those are things we see that very often women with our backgrounds don't always have the luxury to just start all of a sudden full time. So juggling all those different responsibilities can be tough. Okay, some of the challenges, financial, because so it's a cosmetic product, and a cosmetic product, it costs money. It's a product. That's very often with a product business, you do need to invest some sort of money. So trying to, so every month, me and my co-founders, I have a co-founder, Kali, who is a chemist. So the fact that we work together and every month we put money on the side to work towards our business. So that was already not that easy to do. Another thing is, the journey of creating a business took us like, let's say, over 3 years. So we made like 35 different samples. So especially when you're just starting, you're not experienced. So you're figuring everything out, but that's not that easy to do. So those are some of the challenges when it comes to financially and just the whole process of putting a cosmetic business on the market. And there was also no information. People are very secretive about the cosmetic industry. So you have to do a lot of research to finally finalize your product itself. So those were some of the challenges. And even I've been at places where I had to pitch to people, and then the judges are just white men and half of them were bald. So they can't really relate to my curly hair product at the end of the day. So those were some things that I've gone through. But I think the best part was launching last year, because then getting feedback from our community and the excitement of people and seeing people in those 3 years, people are really waiting for it and remind us, oh, when are you launching? And seeing people using their product and say, oh, it works really well, and oh, it really helps with my hair journey. Those are some of the most exciting times. And I think in the She Hub, specifically, we had our first kids workshop last year, and just seeing the parents and the children, they were like, oh, my mom always does my hair very rough and I cry, but this time it was amazing and they really enjoyed it. And to change that experience for them with their hair was fun. It's a bit complicated, I think, in my regards, because I studied business in school. So I had that specific background, but what really helped me with She Did It is the network. So like if a photo shoot for our business, we used then people that I knew from the She Did It network, or if we needed to use a videographer or stuff, or some of the models. So really using the network of She Did It. So then this way, the people that we work with behind the scenes, even like the logo was done by one of my colleagues, not the logo, but the label was done by one of my colleagues at She Did It. So really using the network of She Did It to move my business forward has been of great help. There's so many, so I'll think of a few. Sandrine from Numeru, who came here for coaching specifically for bringing out her interior design. So she has like these chairs from bamboo, and she launched last year. So that was a great success story to see. We also have the girls of Milex Films. So they are a female videographer agency, I would say. And so we've worked with them a lot also, and they work with a lot of weddings and different brands. We also have someone that started her, like she came here as a refugee, specifically from Syria. And her name is Mahabat. And she's actually, her background is being a lawyer. But as her background is being a lawyer, when she comes here to Belgium, she can't really do anything with her degree. So the advice she got from the VDAB was to start cleaning. And she was like, okay, I don't want to do that, because based on my background, there's just other things. And so she decided to have a food business from, her background, her cultural background from Syria. And then she ended up having a food truck in Mechelen. So that's a great success story. Or we have Rashida from Daily Clean that came here for her cleaning business. We have many. I mean, to be honest, we've coached by now over 850 women. So there are I have a lot of success stories here. Yeah, for sure, because we could see that their network gets bigger. And because their network gets bigger, they get to utilize each other. And that's where the magic happens, when they can help each other out and make sure that they become friends in business, and now also have entrepreneurial friends, even though maybe it might not come from your family, but it comes from having a network like She Did It. Or we have a lot of people that come through referrals. So if they start a business, it's like, oh, I did a thing at She Did It, you should go there too. So just having people being part and telling people like, hey, you seem to struggle with this, go to this organization and they can help you. So we can really see that people help each other out. There's still so much, right? We still have so much work to do. The day that we don't have any work to do, that would be amazing, because that means everything will be, solved. But that's not the case. So I think it still comes, especially when it comes to finances and that awareness, but also like having the ability to finance your business and things like that are still things we still need to work on, because the percentages of financings are just still way too low. And it's also important that we also become part of, when the media talks about women in business or just businesses in general, that our audience is also there. I think, one thing we always do every year is we check like, okay, what does our audience need? And then we try to improve based on that. So I think the goal for the next 5-10 years is to continue doing that, to continue listening to our audience. And that's how, we started with the events, and then we did the coaching, and then we had the youthpreneurs and the She Hub and the She Fund. So we always listen to our audience. So keep listening to our audience. But also we hear from other countries that they also want She Did It. We want to create She Did It for different countries that need it, for sure. So as long as the need is there, we want to be able to make sure that every woman with a diverse background feels good and comfortable and feels that they can be able to provide for their family in such a way. I would say for those listening to the podcast, if you have a business idea and you aren't sure of it, you can definitely join our community so that we can give you the tools. Also get the help that you need. There's no need to, I know very often in some of our cultures, like, oh, we need to do everything by ourselves with these type of things. But no, there are people out there, there are experts out there that can help you. So definitely make sure that if you already have a feeling that you want to do it, try it out. There's no harm in trying, and you just keep learning overall. I would say, jump, try, and whether it's good, whether it's bad, whatever the end result is, you've learned from it.